Hey, what's up guys, Eric here. So previously we talked about the events of a wedding, what happens in a wedding, what you should capture, so on and so forth. But now you're probably thinking, what equipment should I buy when I'm trying to get into this industry? And we're gonna cover that today. So a quick disclaimer, we shoot all Panasonic cameras here, but that doesn't mean I don't recommend or would not have used other brands, but I love Panasonic Micro Four Thirds. It really is a fantastic value from the features you get to the price you pay, and you'll be seeing that throughout this video. So anyway, I digress. What camera should you buy? Well, obviously I film with a Panasonic GH5. Phenomenal camera, but maybe not the best first camera for you to buy. You could also look at a Canon 80D. It shoots at 1080p, 60 frames per second, and paired with a nice fast lens, you can get some stunning results, and the dual pixel autofocus is definitely a phenomenal feature. However, the Canon 80D is gonna run you about $1,200 with a lens. That could be a lot of money, especially if we're trying to get a wedding videography kit for only about $2,000. So for your main camera, I'm actually gonna recommend you start off with the Panasonic G85. The G85 is a rather compact camera. I mean, all the Micro Four Thirds cameras pretty much are. And for about $750, you get not only the camera, but a 12 to 60 millimeter lens. It's not the sharpest or greatest lens, but it's gonna start you off. Also with this kit, you get a Rode video mic, some extra batteries, an SD card. Like, really, what more can you ask? The G85 can film 4K 30 frames per second or 1080p at higher frames per second. It has in-body image stabilization, so if you have to go handheld to get some shots, it should actually perform pretty well. I still use the G85 to this day. It's not my main camera, but you definitely could use it as your main camera. Anyway, moving on, you're not gonna wanna use just one camera during your wedding events. You're gonna want at least two. And that's why I recommend you get the Panasonic G7. This is the former camera compared to the G85. It still films in 4K, 30 frames per second. Honestly, the image quality is very similar, and the color science is very similar, so it's gonna be very easy to match up different color profiles. The G7 will run you about $550, so you're saving a little bit of money, and you still get another Rode video mic, an SD card, and the 14 to 42 millimeter kit lens. Again, not the greatest lens, but it's gonna definitely start you off pretty well. Really, the only big difference between the G7 and the G85 really comes down to the in-body image stabilization, which the G7 is lacking compared to the G85. So you might even consider picking up two G7s instead of a G85 and save that extra $200-ish if you don't think the in-body image stabilization is going to be necessary for you. Anyway, moving on to audio. It's really nice that the camera kits I showed you do come with Rode video mics, but that doesn't mean you're off the hook in terms of audio. You're definitely gonna want an external audio recorder, and this is why I recommend the Zoom H1N. For about $132, you get an external recorder that has phenomenal mic capsules built in, and it comes with a lavalier microphone, so you can mic your couple, mostly the groom, just have the Zoom H1 slide into his pocket and then clip the lav mic to his suit jacket, so especially during the ceremony, you can capture some nice, clean audio. And then when it comes to the reception, you can actually use the H1N without the lav mic and just have it on like a light stand or relatively close to a speaker from the DJ and get some clean-ish audio of music as well as speeches, toasts, etc. Anyway, moving on, how are you gonna be supporting these cameras? Of course, you could handhold the camera for an entire wedding, but that's not gonna look very professional, so you're probably gonna want a tripod. And sure, you could go on Amazon and find the Amazon Basic $25 tripod, but you're gonna rely on this $25 tripod to support your baby, your camera that's potentially making you money, like you don't want to risk that. So I actually recommend the Koman DF06 video tripod. For about $160, you get a very sturdy and compact tripod that can also be used as a monopod. Though I will say tripods and even monopods are definitely not everything, especially in a wedding event situation. You're gonna want to be walking around with your camera a lot more, getting nice movements, especially when your couple is dancing. So that's why I recommend some sort of stabilizer. And the one I'm gonna recommend off the bat is the Zion Crane V2. This is an electronic stabilizer that just supports your camera. You hold it with one hand, and once it's balanced properly, you can walk around with your camera and get buttery smooth shots. 100% recommend this. Now I will make note, the Zion Crane V2 is not the end all be all. I fully recommend it with these Panasonic Micro Four Thirds cameras, but if you are shooting with bigger and heavier cameras, even like a Canon 5D full frame camera, those cameras might be a little bit too heavy for the Zion Crane V2, so you might want to step it up with a higher end model. So with all that gear mentioned, what is your grand price? How much money does it cost to start off in wedding videography? Well, just adding everything up here on Amazon, we're looking at $2,090. Now, yeah, that's a little bit of money, but it's definitely going to be well worth it. And for me, I fully recommend these Panasonic cameras because as you're going to be buying new lenses for them as time progresses, hopefully you want to buy Panasonic's higher end products like the GH5, GH5S, and be able to use the same lenses and same accessories with your cameras as the years progress. Also, really, if you think about it, $2,000, you are really getting a lot. 2 cameras, 2 lenses, 3 microphones, if you including the lav mic that comes with the H1N. You get the H1N, which is an audio recorder, a tripod, and a Zion Crane. It's really going to be the right amount of equipment to get started. Of course, there are always upgrades to make, new lenses, external lights, more audio recorders, so on and so forth. But really, you don't want to buy everything all at once because you want to kind of learn your craft. You want to figure out what you like and what you don't like. So, you know, it's an experiment, but what I've showed you thus far, definitely I would fully recommend, and I think you can make a very successful career with this starting equipment. So guys, if you have questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section below. You can check out some links in the description of what we talked about. Anyway, I'm Eric, and I will catch you in the next one.